following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
And welcome everybody here to the continuation of Automotive April here in T2 for Division 1 of the MRE Uno tournament. Getting set here today in the Jaguar region as we've got the defending winner of the T2 Aquatic April. That's Cap. The rapid-fire player had a solid T1, ended his run, though, against Yepez after making his way into the Elite 8, and he takes on one of the rookies looking to snap the 0-6 current streak that rookies have been on in this tournament as he's facing off against Gon. Gon had a tough loss to Ghost in his debut after being elevated from D2 to D1. He's looking to bounce back here today, trying to represent for the rookies. Gonna be a wild one here this afternoon. A laundry list of events going on here today. We have already wrapped up one matchup, and we've got plenty more to come as we take a look at the tail of the tape, if you will, of these two gladiators getting ready to play here today. I mentioned about we're in the Jaguar region. Well, a Jaguar is a close family cousin to a cheetah, and that's going to be the speed we're going to probably see on one side with the legend Cap. We'll see if it's maybe a little bit slower pace when it comes to the rookie Gon. And I mentioned about the fact of that we've got a lot of stuff going to be taking place here this afternoon. Immediately following this one, we're going to end up having another matchup. That'll be at 3 p.m., so be sure to stay tuned for that one, as in this matchup today, it's who's going to go on to face Leia, the number 10 seed in Tire 32. I'm Seth Cole, being joined by KT. We've got Short on the reffing, and KT, I mean, we've seen Cap numerous times. We got the opportunity to be able to observe him in T1. I mean, you've had the chance to be able to see this elevation here for Gon. What does he have to bring to the table with the rapid style that we're going to see, obviously, that we're familiar with from Cap today?
He hasn't had much of a success rate the first tournament. I think the fast player in Ghost got to him a little bit. Ghost made some mistakes, was able to capitalize on it. I think he has to stay in his lane today, Seth. No pun intended in Automotive April, because we know Gon's good at the end of rounds, good at the number ISO, good at the efficiency. When we get down to about 4 to 6 cards, Cap is a player, though. 6 cards? Night. It's over, right? That is about to be the story today. It's going to be a case of can Cap run it to where he gets Gon in a fixed position, speed up his circadian rhythm on the back end, whereas Gon is going to try to slow the pace a little bit, play tricky with it, and get Cap off his game. I think we'll see anywhere between 5 to 12 cards. That's why I had to think on paper, but you wouldn't be surprised if Gon tries a full sender and spices things up. Should be a good one on tap. I think both players are hype for this one. It says, sure, it's a 215, but if Gon can play his usual Uno like we know in the past, he could, because the rookies have been striking out so far and have not been able to find second gear even.
And a little international flair here. It's just the first ever D1 European battle between Latvia versus Ireland. As we mentioned about the fact that we've got a lot coming up here immediately following this one around 3 p.m. We've got Caesar taking on M. M, another one of those rookies that's trying to snap the streak. We'll see if Gon's able to snap it here in this matchup. 7:30 tonight, you got Arya taking on G-Man, and you look a little bit further on down here, a couple of games that are not streamed. We talked about the fact that the road to the T1 tournament finals was ended for Captain by Yepez. He's in action later on tonight at 10 against Ellison, looking maybe for a back-to-back tournament wins. As we're going to now drive over to the table here, get set for this matchup, see if Captain's going to be able to continue on what's been quite a dominant performance in the tournaments that he's taken part in, or will we be striking one for the rookies back home here with Gone? I think it's time to head down to the table here.
Yeah, we'll go into some questions. Seth, do you want to take Cap? I'll take Gone. Go ahead. You want to ask a question to Cap first? Yeah, go for it.
So, Cap, I mean, obviously, you know, we talk about your rapid style of play. I remember the last tournament that we were in, the last matchup that we called with you involved. I talked about, you know, do you change anything up in any way, shape, or form? I'm not going to ask you that question because it certainly seemed like it helped you out in that matchup. You kind of stick with what you know, but and the fact here that it's a clean slate, it's a brand new tournament, you got a chance to be able to fight your way through everything, get to the finals. What are we looking for here? How dominant a performance are you looking for in the early going, or with what we've seen out of the meta of the bot in terms of its ammo distribution, all that type of stuff? Do we end up seeing you have to kind of play towards whatever the hand is that's given to you?
All right, I'm going to go over to Cap types out. We'll go from there. Let's see what Gon's got. Here we go. Hey, Gon, what's going on, brother? Obviously, a lot going on in life. We are back on the table. Tough one to Ghost. Ironically, you play a similar set of player in terms of speed now with Cap. You've known this guy for a long time. You guys know each other from other leagues. You know how he operates on the low tier. How are you going to try to rattle his cage? Not just so much on the low tier, but work on that number efficiency back-end end-around play, which you're very famous for. What we saw in D2 to come up to D1 to get in Cap skin today. And your thoughts on the first ever Premier Series D1 European battle. And as I go for the send here on Gon, boom, we'll see what he says as glad the frame is back as well. Glad that we got that going. You know, I think one thing I'll look about in this game, Seth, I think for Gon, he's got to not get caught up in the moment. It's a big match, and I saw that game against Ghost. He got caught up in the moment too much, and that's the one thing about Gon. He's got to keep his emotions in check. Make sure you don't get caught up in that moment. You're playing an explosive player for the second tournament in a row in the first round. That's going to be the key to get an edge on Captain today as we continue to wait for Cap to type on. Hopefully Gon's around.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of some of the points that we had when we had the Sting versus Knight matchup, right? We were talking about, you know, what Sting brings to the table, and Knight could not play into that hand. He had to do his own strategy, not get distracted, not take any notice of that eye candy. I think the same deal is right here. We know the resume that Cap has. We know what he's going to bring to the table. You can't let that intimidate you. You can't let that get in your head if you are getting ready to try and topple one of the greats here in this tournament, in the case of Gon. So, you know, play what you're comfortable with. Don't try and step out of your comfort zone in this case if you're the rookie.
And you want to go ahead and read that? Go ahead.
Yeah, Captain says, can expect low tier from me. Wanted to go mid tier this season, but after the last tournament didn't pan out, returning to his strategy from last season. So, there you go. So, you know, sounded like he kind of changed up his strategy a little bit back there in T1. Now we're here into T2. He says, nope, I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm going back to what I'm comfortable with. And obviously that doesn't mean that he's going to play any slower than that he plays right now. We're going to continue to see the rapid fire, but we may end up seeing a little bit, or at least me particular will probably see a little bit more different side of Cap. Obviously, KT, you've been able to observe him his entire career here, but it'll be interesting to see if we can zone in on those little differences between T1 and the current T2.
Cap is a crafty player, man. He does not want to give a lot away. The reason, I think deep down, the reason why he keeps these games short just a little bit is to play with the broadcasters and play with his food a little bit. You don't want to reveal too much. That's Think about it. If it's a 6-car start, it's over in 2 turns. What are we going to ask?
Yeah,
And that's the aura, you would say, the more vibe of Cap. He's not going to want to really allow that answer, that box to be opened up. He's going to keep all his emotions and all his tricks in the box. And the moment we start opening it up, things can go south. And I think he saw that with the Yepez game when Yepez played that slower pace. So it's going to be a pace management game. It's just, can Gon slow down Cap? Does Cap want to continue to speed up Gon to a point where he's playing with his food? We'll see. This is going to be a fascinating one as we wait for Gon type. Sure, I saw you on mute. If you want to say something, buddy, go ahead.
I just wanted to pipe in and say, bring a little bit of what Gon did last year in this tournament. He made a Final Four, and this was his debut, T2 and D2 last year, in what was then April Airwave, and he made D2 championship, of course. On the backs of that, he did lose to the Final Four to Myhill, who unfortunately didn't put much more together other than that Final Four run, and is still in D2 this season, but. This is a battle between two players that really shined in T2. Cap obviously winning Aquatic April a year ago, and Gon, who made his D2 debut at the time and finished in fourth place or third place. He finished with the bronze. So very, very interesting to see. This is where they did their best last year. We'll see how it goes in 2025.
Oh God, simply put it. I went to T1 without much to think about, a little busyness, wasn't good enough for my standards, hope I can turn it around, get back to my roots, maybe pull some big ones, and start that D1 push. Better late than never. That's the truth, Seth. That's the beauty of this league, though. You got 5 chances here. You got some time. If you have I'll call it a bogey tournament, you can always get a banker tournament this next one. And the best medicine is sometimes getting back on the horse and playing the exact same style of quickness player to allow you to foster maybe some newer tricks they don't expect. Should be a good one here. Latvia versus Ireland. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. So we'll go down here, and with the higher seed, Captain gets the first call. Said he's expecting low tier from him. Captain, your call. What are we starting out with? There we go. Going with 6. Little half dozen to kick this thing off.
Yeah, we'll go game 1 here as we go for a yellow Drip 0. Great win for Drip in what was a legendary game, I would say. Both guys played absolute limits as we go for a top 4 from the basement. Now Wayne Gon's turn here, Seth. We'll see how he rolls with this. Gon, obviously a guy to, as I said, maybe work on that pace management, try to slow it down as we said in pregame. And that's just what it's going to be here early.
And obviously the games that we've called so far here in Automotive April, and obviously you've seen a lot more than I have, KT, in the fact that with the lower card count, you have to take a little bit of time, kind of observe what your strategy is going to be, because you're not necessarily going to, the odds are against you percentage-wise of getting that ammo to be able to work with. We've seen so many lower tier card starts end up going into an immediate draw city, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how these two end up playing this out. We already saw the rapid fire there from Captain, but we're waiting a little bit of time here for Gon, which I don't know. If you're Cap, does that throw you off just a little bit, because you're quick on the draw, you're ready to play? I mean, we can already see he's got something loaded up, ready for immediately whenever Gon plays a card. I mean, does that in any way throw you off just the least little bit? It's like a pitcher stepping off the mound, right, when the batter's ready to go.
I really agree. I really do agree with everything you said. The problem is, Seth, I just thought about you saying he was driving, so I don't know if this is a real slow pace or he could be having spotty internet. That's
a good point, too.
Yeah, I don't know on this one. This one, hard to read. I love everything you said there, but for the first time in a while, I don't know because of the fact that he's driving and who knows where he's at in the mountains out there.
Is this a first, driving and playing Uno in a tournament at the same time?
We had Chomik with Bus Bros. He was on a bus.
Oh, okay. But was he driving? He wasn't driving the bus, though, was he?
No, hell no. He better have not been. I would have given him a strike on that one.
You just pull everybody on the bus. What card should I play?
Yeah, we've had some crazy, obviously, long live Costco Eli, Airport Eli. We've had some crazy people play certain things. Hell, I think one game back in 2023, I was in my car. So we have had some interesting experiences in this league of people driving and doing things. But first time in a while that someone's admitted it before the match. as we continue to go into Draw City. But yeah, it's like the pitcher stepping off the mound, and Cap has to. There we go. Has to just learn to deal with it, right? Deal with the pace, and now Gon seems to be at a somewhat better position, maybe on internet or whatever, and is rolling a little quicker.
So we started out with 6. We're up to now 8 cards apiece, continuing here into Draw City. And what kind of a case do you think? Because remember we ended up talking in the last matchup that we called there with.
Ooh.
Oh, gotta open up a little
okay.
Pandora's box
Play.
here. Little
Yeah.
trips
Little trip.
into the yellow. But I remember when we were talking about Sting, how he may actually have a color, but he won't necessarily play it. How much do you think all of this drawing was in case of trying to, just try to get some ammo? You may have a card where you're able to play to be able to continue it on, but you want to be able to see if you can get a little bit of ammo to be able to utilize for later on in the game.
Well, that's the thing. So with 5-6 cards, we've seen this with Cap. You don't know what's in that pile. With Sting 9, they were playing more 8+. There's the 5 switch. You don't know what's in that pile. I think they're definitely banking on a little bit of maybe some top luck. And with that, back to the yellow Cap playing for ISO. Here we go.
Great play there from Cap. We'll see if that is indeed going to ice out Gone and start drawing him back. No!
Oh, he's got some more.
He had something to play, a little double play there. Now Cap's got to be smart. Does he try to go on the defensive a little bit here? Gone down to 2 cards. Potentially could have a finish.
You got
One would assume.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. There's the answer back. I would have assumed based off that double play that Gone would have been looking for a color swap. More than likely would have been depleted out of yellow, but now he'll have more options as Cap edges ahead by 2 cards.
Yeah, Cap flips the scoreboard around. Now Gone will have to readjust with that +6 in the freshies. Let's go with 6 feel goods, man. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Doesn't work for Gone. Cap changes momentum. Yep.
Gone was out of the blue, even despite having to draw 4 fresh cards. Captain gonna bail him out potentially, swapping it over to the red.
And we'll go 1 up this time. Yep.
Cap
and nothing for Cap. Interesting.
Nothing. Okay, so I was gonna say, we were starting to get down to that area, 4 or 5 cards, where we'll sometimes end up seeing the quad to maybe finish out a game. Can't take anything for granted, even though it kind of looks like that we may play a little bit up to about 2 cards remaining. We've seen so many games end up getting ended with a 4-card play.
Yeah, an old quad bagger, as I like to call it. Nothing yet. Don't have the quads out, even though it's Automotive April and the ATVs, but they're always on the back burner if we ever need it. As Gone goes into night. Back to yellow. That's big set. That's a little ISO game in the Grim. Yep.
Gone able to run in the yellow.
Now they are both. Obviously, both guys seem to have run out earlier. A little JT dry action after that +2 from Gone into the yellow. Let's see what he's picked up on the Draw City, though.
So far, we've seen a couple of reverses. I believe 3 +2s. We've yet to see the Wilds make an appearance here in this game.
And there's the top 4, just like we started the game with the 0-9 combo. And now Cap runs on the 9s. Can he continue with the number of fish?
Looks like Gone may be stuck with 2-color hand with the red and the green. We know he's out of blue. He's now out of yellow. So Cap will have that in mind in what he plays here.
There's the setup. There we go.
But he does move into the green, which I believe is one of the colors that Gone needed. Question is, does he have ammo to answer back?
Gone looking to get out of it here, but he can't. Here comes Cap looking for check. He signed it off right here. Loading up, taking his time. He signs it off.
Yeah.
Split. You, buddy, on that question. That was a little bit different type of Cap game, though. Over 5 minutes on a game. Very rare, for sure.
Oh, the Draw City extended it a little bit there, but I mean, he ended up having, 2 +4s there to end this thing off, to continue running it in the green, get him home, and take it up 1-0 here.
Let's go for that question to Cap here, Seth. What are we thinking?
Yeah, so Cap,
what's in our mind?
I mean, as KT observed, a little bit longer of a matchup than we're used to seeing you have, but we end up seeing the rapid fire playing. Those draw fours, though, ended up being the kind of final death knell in closing out this game. We saw you guys go into that draw city about 4 or 5 plays into this game. Did you have the +4 or at least one of them at the start? Did they come off of the draw? When did you have them as far as being able to utilize them here late?
Yeah, now I'll go into gun here with my VM question. Let's check that out. 1 second here. Go into that. Here we go. Gone. Tough first game right there, brother. Actually, no, read that. Go read that.
Said he had one from the start and second one from the draw city. I'll let you do your VM question here before I touch on that.
Gotcha. Gone. Tough first game there, brother. You obviously had a good save with the yellow. Really good feel, and then unfortunately that triple +2, we've seen it bite the dust sometimes. No blue after that. Were you trying to save a little bit blue to offset Cap on his potential heater on red, or did you just feel confident going into that blue to where you felt you maybe were just saving a reverse skip meta that we know and love you for? It just didn't pan out. Thoughts on the split ammo finish there from Cap as well? Could you have done anything to prevent that maybe on the first +4, or you're left out to dry? All right, go to you. You're good, Seth. You're good.
Yeah, I love the reserve of Captain there, having the 1+4 on the initial draw, and decided instead to go into Draw City rather than trying to utilize it to try and close it out early. So many times when you have the lower and sometimes even the lower mid-tier card start, if you have ammo like that, your first thought is, ooh, this thing could be over in a blink of an eye. I can use this to be able to completely dominate, maybe not even have to draw a card. The fact that he kept that in reserve, he went into Draw City, was able to get more ammo to pair with it. That, I think, was a really smart play. Obviously, we saw it be able to give him the 1-2 punch with double +4s at the end of this game. And I think that's something that a lot of people may take for granted, in the fact that you don't necessarily have to use that really strong ammo right out of the gate. Just keep it in check. Maybe take a little bit of an opportunity to get some more cards, see what happens. If you have to get bailed out, you've still got that there available, even if you have to play it in a defensive way.
It's all about offense versus defense in this league, Seth. And let me tell you, both guys, I would say, on this 5 or 6 card start here, lower tier, they got what they want. They both got what they wanted in a sense that it was drawn out. It was a little bit more of a strategic battle. Maybe not so much on number efficiency, more just on instincts. There was some number efficiency. Of course, 8 switches combined with some of them artificial. It was more about instinctual. Cap obviously having the 2+4s is an advantage. But at the same time, when you only play 29 combined cards, 14.5 average, there's only so much you can do on that. I think for Gon, being down the cards drawn versus cards played, we'll have to look into maybe speeding Cap up. But once again, Cap's not afraid of nothing. Even that little 2-minute delay we had, or not even 2 minutes, let's say 90-second delay, couldn't even really get anything going, he says. Early from the +2 was a risk. Didn't pay off. Some bad draws as well. Down towards the end, no blocks against Cap's ammo. Yeah, I kind of expected it. The ice caps were out there, just nothing Gon could do. He was frozen in time. Expected.
Well, we'll see if he can draw it back even here on this upcoming game. Cap already with the first shot, and he will have the call in this upcoming second game. Obviously will not be able to call 6. We'll see what he ends up going for here. We'll go down to Cap for the call, and he will go 1 up. I thought more than likely that would be the case, playing that lower tier, but just going up a little bit higher here. We'll see. I mean, this is like, at this point, I was a little surprised that he had the +4 on the initial start of 6 cards. Will be a little bit more of an opportunity for ammo on both sides with the 7-card start.
Yeah, I think, Seth, this is still what Cap wants in his wheelhouse, 5 to 8. Best of 7. You're good. The 5 to 7, 5 to 8, it's just his wheelhouse, and it just depends how Gon reacts here as we'll go to Zach 2 to start us off. Can Gon try to, put a dent in the plan? He tried that early +2. Maybe you say, you know what, maybe it's too risky a little bit. Try to switch, and there's the switch. Instead of trying to use some of that ammo, we're going to find out, and there we go. So tries to switch and caps out just a little bit now.
Thing is, too, with the lower tier card starts as well, there can be the question of how soon is too soon to use your ammo. You go back to that first game, we saw Gon use that +2 that double play, and then Cap answered right back with 2+2s of his own. If, let's say, in essence, a double play right here by Cap. Let's say, in essence, that Gone kind of holds on to that +2 for a little bit later on. Do we end up seeing Cap fire that offensive shot, which gave him a huge advantage and kind of put Gone on the back foot? We talk about timing. Timing is huge when it comes to Uno. We talk about the preemptive play. It all really comes down to the timing of when you use anything, whether it's number efficiency, whether it's color swap, whether it's utilizing the ammo, whether it's a skip or a reverse, the +2s, the +4s, the wilds, what have you. When is too soon to use the ammo with lower card counts like this?
Well, what we're going to find out right now is the scoreboard operator. Statsman Short came up really good before I get anything further. He says this is his 5th straight game 1 win for Cap. So he's 5-0 on game 1s this year as we go back to red.
Wow.
Back to your point, Seth, I think the time to use it is just so hard. It's so hard on a 5-8 because if you make the break too early, you may be risking that pile. The top pile might have the +2s or the wilds or the +4s. And then you're giving it back. And if you go too late, it was already there. And here comes Gone looking for a run, but just a double.
Just the double there. He already had Cap iced out on the red, but decides to go over to the yellow here. Cap with some yellow to be able to play. Gone 1 card up on Captain. And, we talk about the statistics and everything. Obviously, trying to build the storylines as they head into each matchup. We talked about the 0-6 start for the rookies. Does Gone even listen to any of that? We obviously tell it to the people that are watching, but if you're the player, you're not even thinking of that stat, right? You're just focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's the matchup right here and now. You don't care about what happened in the past.
Now, past the past. Last year, we were talking about rookies were 9-0 at one point, right? Things change, things evolve, things move quick around here. I know we're in automotive April, but time moves up in space, and that's again, just like that. Time moves up in space, baby. That's how it works sometimes.
Look at that.
I think Cap got to respect that, though. We'll see what he says here, because remember, you go well, you take the risk, for sure.
Tremendous.
Go ahead and ask me a question, Seth. You got it.
Tremendous quad play there. Cap, we ended up seeing you really kind of just do the number efficiency there, get yourself down to the 2 cards, got iced out there on red. We talked about in that first game how you ended up having that +4 on the initial draw, had the ammo advantage at that point in time. Was there anything to counter this flurry of offense in the closing stages here, or did you just not luck out on the ammo draw here with the lower card count?
I think you might answer this one. So while he answers, I don't want to interrupt again. I think it's going to come down to a point now where for your Gone, you feel confident, you got a lower tier win. Maybe you try something a little bit upper. Obviously, Gone is a guy that sometimes do 7, but he's more of a 9+, 8+ kind of guy. We'll see what he does in Game 3. I think this is the case here, just looking back at this game, Seth. Good ammo control. Took advantage of maybe Cap with that early +2. That's all I can really think of. I think other than that, he played the numbers well, and if he had that monster hand, especially with 2 +4s, that's tough to beat. That's going to be a case of for Cap. You just got to brush it off the old shoulder, take that one on the chin, and move forward. For Gone, that's a big win because now you basically even the score. Almost even. How about this? Cards drawn, 25-25, 25-23. This is as crazy as it gets on the scoreboard in terms of 1-to-1 ratio.
And again, we talk about the timing. You see what Captain says here. He had a wild +4, 2 moves though away from the win. That's why he saved it. And that preemptive strike from Gone is what got him that victory. It all comes down to timing.
It's all timing, man. We go to Gone. Gone, big win there. You just saw what Cap said. He had the timing run. You ultimately beat him to the punch with a right-left hook combo with the +4 into a quad play. Good win there. I will say, though, do you think you looked at a little bit on the more number efficiency? Because, green switch. Maybe you had learned your lesson from Game 1 instead of throwing that ammo. Because you had the pace in the ammo, the pace differential in the ammo with the +4s and whatnot, to be more confident and reserved, throw a little bit of a heater on number efficiency compared to the first game where you learned the lesson to adapt from throwing an ammo card. And talk to me about the adaptation process as you go into your homestand, playing the low tier to potentially mid or high tier for Game 3.
As you look at the upper third, of our screen here, number 2 ranked Cap versus number 15 ranked Gone. A lot of people will be like, wow, that's an incredible win right there for Gone versus Cap. But we heard Short say in D2, Gone was in the Final Four. I mean, when we see rookie versus veteran, that doesn't mean that this is the very first game that Gone has played. That doesn't mean that there's a different level in experience. That means that he's just not been up here in D2. That's all that rookie status means. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see a complete slobbering of Cap over Gone. We're going to see back and forth here, I feel, in this matchup.
Yeah, everyone's good up here, man. You have to understand, too, and I was talking to this, I think Shore and I discussed this, the rookie class last year was so unbelievably talented where we were in a transition year. A lot of the rookies really shouldn't have been. Ashley, for example, should never have been a rookie. Cap should have been a master. We just had to put him there as a label. Like I said, it's like age is a number. That's just the label. Exactly. It's just the label. You can't really do much about that. When on any given day, anyone can win. We saw it in round 1, tournament 1. Everyone was fired up. I understand the cream is starting to rise to the top as we start to see more people fall on the wayside with that 0-2 record. But at a certain point, urgency is going to start kicking back in. T3 could be the opposite, where we go back to T1, where we start getting those game sets. It's a fascinating thing. It's a fascinating dilemma in a good way to see how these rookies adapt. But I'm more interested to see how this pace will go when we get to these upper stars, because we know Gon is not a guy to keep it low. If he does, he's playing into it. So I'm more interested to see when we get to a higher start how we can adapt, how we can be creative on the looks. And for Cap, he's been there. He saw Yepez play upper tier. He knows how to get it done too. He's just got to find a little bit more calmness and patience, as he always is known for, and he'll get the wins as we wait for Gon. Sorry, you want to say something while we wait?
I'll piggyback off that point. Like, we did talk about that as like the rookie class. I mean, yeah, it's an amazing rookie class because like look at how many of those guys are in like above the novice line. Like there's so many guys that did so great, including the world champ. And yeah, you're right. It was a label, and I said this to you. I remember, KT. They're a rookie to the league, not a rookie to the game. And these guys coming up from D2 aren't rookies to the game either. They played an entire season and earned their spot in Division 1, and they're not going to be any slouches. And that's why a lot of them came out and showed out in round 1 of March Madness. And now Gon is trying to do the same thing amongst everyone else, kind of falling to the wayside a little bit. I mean, a couple made those statements and then faltered this tournament, but that doesn't mean that they're out of it. And Gon is definitely showing that he's got a shot in this division.
Couple plus, thank you, but a couple plus twos from the start. One of the Wild saved them, definitely worked better. Color changes on my part as well. A feel which suited. And that's it, right? Jordan, Seth, you had the ammo differential. You had that ammo in the back pocket. We've seen it then. We saw this a lot with Andy Lamas. If you have some ammo in the back pocket and then you feel comfortable to drag the game out when he draws the first turn, you're going to be more patient with it. And you don't have to rush the pace. That's a great example of just pace management, controlling the ammo, controlling the situation, and that's table awareness. If you just feel, okay, table awareness, I got some in the back pocket, ace up my sleeve, trump card, whatever you want to call it. You stay low-key about it, you run it, and then you can finish the game and catch Cap napping. That's the beauty of this game, Seth. There's always a way to catch people napping. And for Gon, he got Cap just a little napping on his beloved 5-8, and now we go into a game 3 for a best of 5 moving forward, for sure.
Yeah, so far, first 2 games, both winners, they've been in their comfort zone, and now they get ready to break this 1-1 tie, so you could take some advantage in game 3. Home game now here off that most recent win for Gon. Don't know if he knows that it's his time.
Yeah, Short's got that.
Short's letting him know. All right, so Gon will be getting the call here, and KT, you said he's more what'd you say in the mid tier range usually?
Mid, I say mid.
Well,
there you go. 9.
Yep. I think you said 9 earlier, so there you go. Just as you predicted, and well, interesting start here. Do we play off the +2, use any potential ammo right out of the gate, or do we just play it cool? And we're just going to play it cool. Smart play there. Don't use up that ammo too early here. Not right out of the gate.
Aggressive from Cap, though. That's aggressive. Just like that. Makes the switch. And that's big. Wow. It's the same thing as game 2, Seth. This time Gon got to draw early, and Cap can run quicker. You can see he's pushing. He's pushing that pace. He is pushing.
Gon now over to the red.
Cap running, yep. Yeah, I mean that's part of it. Now we're really going all over the board. Back to yellow.
So this
Smith's
was what
in the
we
green for
swapped the
Pandora.
color
There
off
it is.
of, and he'll swap it over to the green will Cap. So all 4 colors represented here in the early going. Gone will run with it. Right now you kind of feel like the momentum, the advantage to Cap. He's kind of in control.
Cap in control for now. Let's see what he can do as we start to get into that red zone area, but he draws out here.
Drawn out of green. So Gone out of blue, Cap out of green. Keep that squirreled away for a little bit later on in this match if someone needs to go on the defensive. No ammo played here in the early going of this. Gone potentially setting up for something. We're 5 cards away from the finish. Wow!
That's
We're
a game,
going to have
I
a
think.
5-bagger. 5-bagger finish. Are you kidding me?
Wait a minute, he called it. He called
Oh,
it
he
out.
didn't call the Uno. Oh, no.
You know what it was? You know what it was? Set unlimited commands. He didn't know the rules.
Yep.
That's it. Very
Oh, wow.
It's a rookie mistake. Apologize for the language, but rookie mistake. Well, it was, but
It was. He played the 4, but he didn't. He should have done the 3 and then.
Wow.
Oh, he thought it was 5. Oh, nope, it's 4. Wow.
That's a costly one
That
because now
is.
you've just given Cap a ton of momentum back. He had nothing. He was dead in the water. Game changer. That's a rookie mistake.
And now what?
Question is, what does he have? What did the call out give him? Does that screw over Gone, or can he find a path?
Well,
and there's that wild that he tried to play before. He tried to finish on that wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
the question now becomes: is Cap going to sniff this out? Though that's the question that becomes. Let's see.
Swaps it to
Does
the
he have anything
blue,
to pounce with
and
either? There you go. There's the
back.
pounce.
He's got to sniff it out. Good move there. Yeah, that's a costly one, Seth.
It is.
You know, that's just a simple lapse of judgment, right? You think 5, and I think he did this against Ghost, but the question on that was with 12 cards, and it didn't cost him. When we get to Uno, that's a tough one to swallow.
If Cap ends up taking this series, this may be a moment of the series that we look back on as kind of the turning of the tide, because that could have been an easy 2-1 up for the rookie over Cap.
Now, no idea on this one here,
No.
Seth, because now we don't know what he got. We know he's got blue, but does he want to risk going back there? It's a tricky one. Now you got to play this one a little bit more.
Cap
solid.
was out on blue earlier.
He was out on blue, now out on yellow.
And they're both out.
A really interesting game there. That should have ended basically in maybe 90 seconds, and now both guys are going to play into this draw city that we have known and love. It seems early in this series so far. They both have been able to do it. Both have been able to vibe with it. But the question remains, Seth, when you make a mistake like that, it gets into you mentally. Like, damn, I had it, and how do you recapitalize from that? And he's going to try right now to get some recapitalization right here.
And not just in this game. I guarantee you when we get into the next game, he's going to be thinking about that play of don't make the same mistake again if I'm in that type of a situation. But he was able to draw +4.
Gonna have a potential move. You get the check again. I don't think he's going to mess this one up.
Yeah, he only played the +4.
Oh my God, he got it
there
back.
It is.
What is that?
Look at
What did
that.
I tell you? What did it give him? What did it give him? And the draw city as well.
Man.
Yeah, I was going to say draw
That's all he
city as
needed.
Well, but you know what? You can't fault Cap for calling him out because either way.
No, you can't. Why wouldn't you?
We'll go to Cap here.
You just delayed the inevitable in that
Got
case.
a little sweet redemption there. Cap, I mean, a great job on the Uno call-out, and then it looked like you had the ball in your court. Did you have something there for a run to the finish? We saw you guys go into the draw city. How did it work out for you as far as the ammo you got on the draw city? Or was just the Uno call-out kind of preventing the inevitable?
I don't really know what else he could have did if that's just...
Only had the numbers in the 1+4. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. That's a tough situation there. I mean, kudos to him on the Uno call-out. because that definitely helped, at least for the moment, preserve the game. And then hoping for something on the draw city. Unfortunately for Cap, it just went, the momentum and the ammo cards ended up going the way of Gone. But I'm going to be honest with you, I've not seen that kind of a bit of a comeback there. When you make that kind of a mistake and you find yourself at the deficit that Gone was at, to be able to have the luck on the draw, to be able to mount the comeback there and get a little bit of redemption just about, maybe 2-3 minutes after the mistake. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
No, it's been a minute. Well, we very rarely up here, very very rare. Usually, the last time I had to think about someone missing a call was Camaro 55, but that was a different scenario. He just could never find anything on the back end. We'll go here to Gon. Hey Gon, great win, man. A little lapse in judgment. 5 command chain was really 4, but it looks like you profited off the potential call out. I want to know really what you got off the call out, or was that +4 a little bit off the draw city? You only had one of those really, so I'm going to assume most of that call out was the good fortune. Can't really say much because this was supposed to be a 90-second win if you hadn't made that blunder. That's all I really got. What was off the call out, and maybe was that draw city profitable on the +4? All right, back to you, Sil. Let me just ping him here.
Yeah, something I was kind of observing here as well. We talk about Captain and his rapid style of playing. There's been a couple of times, but not really seeing a slower pace out of Gone either. He's been pretty ready with the cards as well. As soon as Captain plays something, we've obviously seen a little bit of time with him trying to put the chains together and everything. But aside from that, we have seen some pretty rapid fire play on both ends of the table.
Yeah, it's been a game of speed demons in a way. Well, last on the breaks here, both have been really pushing that. We haven't really seen anything smooth in the corners. It's been more last on the breaks and demons, and you wonder if you're, especially Cap, I would say, 9 is still close enough to your wheelhouse to where you can start to maybe think about slowing it down, but I just don't think Cap has that second gear to say, okay, let me find a way to slow. He's always going to be, as he said in the pregame, going back to the low, get the speed going, get it rolling, and for Gone, you sure he lost that potential fumble right there, but he still was able to lock back in, which is harder to do. So it's the resilience aspect versus the speed aspect. It's something to keep in mind because it still affects you even in that game 4. Then we might see a linger around. But if Gone can push this aside and say, hey, you know what? Now I know the command chain. I got those little things out of the way. The kinks are out. He can get right back at it and start to fire on a big shot and go 3-1. But then again, the cards start. We don't know. If he wants to try 8, he's playing with fire. If he goes upper tier, then we'll see if this puts Cap in a compromise. But it's all going to come down to the card starts with Gone if he can get into Cap's head. I think that's going to be the storyline moving forward for these next potential 4 games.
How important do you think it was for Gone to have this 2-1 advantage here, or do you think that he may have poked and prodded the beast and now we're going to have a more motivated Cap here in Game 4?
You never want to poke the beast that is Captain, man. Listen, there are a couple players in the league you don't want to poke at the beast. I think Cap has definitely asserted himself as a legend to be one of them. We know Yepez is another one. We know Ashley when it's not maybe the 5.65, 7.87. But we'll see what he says. Lack of my knowledge on the 5. Glad it worked down the end. Good color. Good holding, color changing, and timing was happy with everything bar the blunder. It was a bit worth the end because it took so long to type it. Left and hoping for a power play. But yeah, I don't even think it would have mattered there because you got to think there's a +4 chaining. You're not going to get Cap on a power play off a regular +4. I think he was safe. If this was game, let's say 6 and he's down, yeah, you expect that. But right now, a little early. Well, Cap, there we go. I was just mentioning the split. He got that going.
And going back to that point there, too, of Cap possibly doing the power play, if Cap had a finish, that's one thing. But as he said, he only had the +4 and really only had numbers after that. If he didn't have a path to be able to win the game right then and there, I don't think you would have seen Cap use the power play. So good job of preserving the power play. Yeah, you're down a game, but still early. Still early. Save that power play for later on.
Yep, save it for when it matters, and we'll roll into that start. We'll go to a wild start now. For Gone, I think it's going to be about this game. You're playing into little Cap's fire, 5-8. You still want to go to this mid-tier. Maybe he's thinking about if we go to a game 6, save that upper tier pack, try to steal another one, steal those brownie points early, get some banker wins, a banker lap, as we like to say, and then maybe if we have to go Game 6, pull out the trump card and go 14, right, or 15, and try to get Cap in a compromise spot. Oh, this is a move. They always do this.
Yep.
We'll see if Cap. I don't know. Cap is a guy that
Who
he's
blinks
not going to
first?
follow. So he ain't going to
Yeah.
listen to no rules.
It's a matter of who blinks first.
Cap is one of those guys, man. You know, a lot of the legends class set, not guys to do that. You know, Cap ain't. I don't think Sanford is. I don't believe Ashley. Now there's a lot of guys in that upper tier. They don't really do that much, for sure. And we all know the original do it was KT with the shirt, but we'll keep it clean on that one.
Yeah.
We'll go right here.
I got to step aside just for one quick second. I'll be right back.
I got you, man. I'll cover her. Cap gonna go into a draw here. Gon goes for the red 3 in the Logan. 6 is up right here. Gon now taking his time. Into a red 1 now. Goes Gon.
With that home table advantage.
What's that?
Gone with the home table advantage, and Cap just snatched it away.
Looking good for Cap on a potential small heater right there. Will he check into the KT Wow from the H to Lara? See if Gon has anything in reserve. Had not seen Blue opening up Pandora's a little bit more. Now here comes Cap. Looking to run. Does he tie it up right here? No, he's just going to continue to Blue trains. And Gon's out now. Cap in a this is a good spot for Cap. Gon draws and he's at check.
Check, 1 down.
Gon nothing. Cap for the 2-2. KT
oh my!
With a little respect on the back end, and we tie it up. Well, I'll go to Cap here since Seth took a little second here, my friend. Cap, big double wild advantage right there. Used a little reverse skip meta. Gon didn't even play a single one. The bot played more wilds in that game than Gon. Talk to me about getting a little bit of a advantage on that little wild deficit, but also a good fade to look off the red. Was that a case of you're looking for one connector off that red draw and we're just looking for one more skip? So you can get Gon a little bit confused, and talking about the timing, man, on that one draw, because that one draw sometimes can make the difference and how you've been able to be precise with it. As he types that out short, one thing I noticed about Cap's game here is he's won on his... I guess he's got 2 out of 3 on the cards we know he loves. 5 to 8. We haven't seen the 5 yet, but 6 and 8 for sure. Is the momentum. And if you think if you're Gon, okay, you had the win... Great hand, whiplash theory. Is that start to come back in with that Cody Lamas old effect when he talked about the whiplash? Sometimes you get those monster hands, it can go sour. Let's look at, for example, a great example in this tournament. Hold on. Wanted to play that green skipping wild, but Gon Chain, look, I drew. Okay, so there's the top deck.
Top deck heaven. Damn.
Top deck heaven, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, one of the great examples in this match, I was actually talking to both Toasty and Acosta. Acosta had a monster game 1 hand, and he kind of said, you know what, I was due for whiplash, and we've seen that's a great example. Drip yesterday, he was getting 3+4s every single win, but that was a case of no whiplash because DJ on his wins was just outskilling him, but Game 7 came down to where he got outskilled just the one time. So there's multiple ways to skin the cat, and I think with these lower tier starts, you got to expect it, as I'll go into Gon here with a question that will be A+.
Got it.
Gon, what's up, brother? Tough loss right there, but you got to respect that because Game 3, you got all the cards. The call-out was cooking. Unfortunately, right here, just a little snake bit on the colors. Do you think it was a case of you weren't able to maybe run one color and have a 3-color look to maybe go to where you could have saved something? Or do you think Cat just did a great job on the ISO, couldn't risk a potential switch early, and ultimately just ran out of juice at the end? A little whiplash for sure. Seth, you back, buddy?
I am back. Yes, indeed. Caught the tail end of that one.
Covered for you on the question. You want to read that comment? Go ahead. Actually, I got it. I wanted to play that green skip. It was time. I already read it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was like, what?
What do you read?
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm doing the voice messaging, I lose a little track. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but basically, a little bit of whiplash for Cap here. Pulls away, and after Gon kind of finding the hands in those first 2, getting a little bit of the bailout despite being called out, Cap comes right back and takes care of business.
Yeah, and interesting with all four of these games in the low to mid tier. We talk about comfort, kind of the comfort zone of both of these guys, and it looks like
Not a double digit.
yeah,
Not a
exactly.
double digit
It
card
kind of
starting
seems like
site.
in
Yeah.
the future we're going to continue to run in this. As KT said, we may end up seeing a 14 or a full send maybe later on, but right now, stick with what works.
And Arrow's going to go back to Cap. I don't expect it to go up to the high tier unless he really
No.
wants to make a change.
We're guaranteed to go 6 through no matter what. And now, Seth, now we can start talking about our beloved power play here. Because this is when you got to start talking about. When it's 2-2, when do you pull it? Do you pull the trigger now? Get the 3-2? We saw that with Lamas. Just couldn't have it in Game 6. Do you... Well, I think Peter Goldie had that situation. I think it was Goldie down. Peter had pulled it, I believe, if I'm mistaken. Sorry, you were there for that one. You remember?
Which game in that series?
Hold on a second. Small bit of lacking cards-wise for me. And capitalized by keeping me unfavorable. Peter pulled the Game 5 power play, right? It was up 3-2. Goldie was on the offense with the power play. If I'm mistaken.
I gotta look at it just to jog my memory. Life
Okay,
is a lot, yeah.
That's okay. That's what I remember just studying a little bit of tape. But, and he said, right? Said not lacking the cards, right? So lacking on the cards, but he had that monster call out in that monster draw city. It's the whiplash, and it's coming back in your favor. You almost want to win a game sometimes where you steal one for real, where you may only have 1+2 or 2 reverses and skips and a couple numbers. You steal one, maybe that evens out the momentum to where, okay, maybe there is no whiplash, and I can get it back in return because I won a game. You got to know how to massage this thing, and for Gon, unfortunately, a little bit too much on that right leg, and now I have to try to bounce back. For Cap, though, we know low tier is coming. Let's see what he does here as we wait for Short to get that information before I go any further.
Yeah, that was a game number 4 power play, actually, and that was the win to put him up 3-1. He would go on to win 4-2. But yeah, I mean, power play. There's a lot of different philosophies to it. You could use it to clutch up in a game 7. You could use it in a game 1 just to get the momentum going, or to get a bigger lead at 3-1. And I mean, yeah, 3-1 is way different than 2-2 as we discussed in that game. So now we're already at 2-2 in our power play, one each. I don't know if you see one coming out in game 5, maybe game 6 for the winner, or for the one that's down trying to hold on for dear life. But it'll all depend on what cards get dealt here in game number 5 coming up.
Well, two things about that power play. Number one, now that we've gotten past Game 4 into Game 5, now the home field advantage swaps every game. It's not every 2 games. So momentum is definitely going to be a thing in terms of whether you're going to use that power play or not. You also go back to that last stream that you and I had, KT, when it was when we ended up seeing...
Yep.
Yeah, and we saw where there was an opportunity for the power play to be played. I believe it was in Game 5. And he said, I'm holding on to it. I want to hold on to it for Game 7. He never got to use it. You don't want to wait too late to use that power play because you may never get a chance to be able to utilize it.
Well, you know what? Real quick, Short, can you ask him real quick? Are we good to start now? Just if he's got to take a quick 5-minute. Yeah, just want to make sure he's good. So I don't want a situation where we're playing this game and then we got a 10-minute drop and then we got to backtrack on the stoppage time.
Gotta manually adjust the time average. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make sure
that was me this morning.
Oh, we could do. Well, we're giving him a little bit of time. We can look at the upcoming.
Oh, okay, he's good. He's good.
Oh, he's good. Never mind.
Go for the schedule. Go for the schedule, though.
Yeah,
schedule.
So we still got plenty to come here today. Right after this one, we're going to be heading over to Caesar versus M, 3 p.m. The scheduled start time may get pushed back depending on how this one goes.
We'll turn it around.
Yeah, we'll see. And then we've also got in the Diablo region, we've got at 7:30 Arya taking on G-Man. Those are the streamed games here today, but then a little late night action with Ghost taking on MGR in the Mustang region, and then the number 1 seeded Diego Yepez taking on James Ellison at 10 p.m. late night in the Diablo region. That all going to be coming up here during a full day of matchups here on a wacky Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday, indeed. I like that. We'll keep it rolling. We'll go into Cap's start. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, I'll go for it. Cap, No 6 and 8, man. Everything is open. Yeah, knew it was coming. Had a feeling.
Going
There it
all
is.
the way to the bottom floor.
Let's gamble. 5 cards. We're in. Short puts it in, and we're. Oh man, what a start set.
Oh, man.
That's huge. That is
On a
big.
5 card, and you start with a reverse, man.
That is massive right there. That's the kind of stuff you want. Now, we have been informed that this may take a little longer though, just unfortunately due to some internet issues. So we'll see how this one goes. Here comes Cap though. Oh my word! What is that? Whoa!
Huh?
Cap? Wow, he's gonna leave it open. Okay.
Double
That
play
is a
into
move. That is a
draw.
move. I think he wants more cards. Yeah.
Yep.
It seems
Lamas did
seems
this. We
right
see
to
this
me.
with Lamas. We saw Lamas. This is 2023 Super League move.
Nah,
This is
it ain't
classic.
regret. It ain't regret. He was baiting for more. He wants some more. He needs more options.
It's interesting though. Was this a case of though that he wanted more cards, but make sure that Gon didn't get a lower amount of cards on his side as well? Because wouldn't you want to save that ammo?
You would, but on a 5 though, you gotta think it's instincts.
Yeah.
I trust Cap. He's the one guy you can't question on this start. He just knows it so well. That's the thing.
You gotta say on a low card start, the aggression level is completely different from like a 10 to 15. Like your opponent could have been dealt the god hand like to get them to the win in one
fair.
turn. And if you don't have the options, I don't blame Cap for going that direction. You never know what the hand is on the other side because you don't even have to lean on the power play in some cases. Like we've seen 1-turn finishes in 5-card starts many a times. So I can't blame him for playing a bit more defensively if he didn't have the options to go with. But Gon making the switches, trying to play that aggressive pack as well.
Cap strong, but he did have one red. One thing to know, he did have one in the tank.
Seen 4+2s played here in the early going of this one.
Ooh, freeze him up. Okay.
Yeah, and see, he was sent back, but he has already tied the game. He's already back in his possession arrow lead, just like that.
Here comes Cap looking at. Well, he's got it. Cap got it back now. He's got the PA, but it's close in the green now, and Gon's out.
Now
This is
Gon's
big for
out.
Cap.
Yep.
This is huge.
Oh, that's massive
Oh
heater.
my god.
Massive heater. What a wild save. You have to respect that wild save potential. That's crazy if he did save it too, unless he got a top deck, because he could have easily flipped that over
Could have
to green.
come from the 6 that he got from that
Good move
entire
from Cat. That's a
sequence.
great
Oh,
ISO
that
move.
is- that
Unless
is a
he's
good
got a
move.
reverse. Unless he's got the other reverse.
He
Great
does
move.
not.
Yep.
Great play right there to ice out Cap.
And he top decks a 2.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, but
That
right
is
back to the
Oh.
blue. The number
Big
of fish.
deuce. Big deuce.
Oh, God goes a little bit more.
Fade?
That's what Cap.
Fade?
That is a crazy fade. Brock fade.
Fade?
At check.
But Cap has check. Oh my goodness.
Does
What
Gon have
game.
a finish?
That is insane. No, he's double.
No, he
Oh
doesn't.
my! Oh,
Cap's
it's
out.
gone
Oh
for
my
it
gosh, does
to
Gon have
steal. He
does?
steals it!
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness! Or does he? Or does he? Or does he? Or does he?
Okay, there it is.
Oh, it was a one.
That was insane.
Oh my gosh.
That was one of the most insane fades I've ever seen. So he did the reverses, and then was playing the blue. Got Cap guessing. Cap, you can't. All right, what? Seth, you got to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Cap, that was a back and forth. That was a slugfest right there. Fades, hook shots, uppercuts. I mean, it was looking like you had a run to the finish. Looked like he had a run to the finish. We talk about the preemptive timing and that type of a thing. What was the changing point? What was the area right there that kind of had you a little bit on the back foot, didn't have that finish? And what was that last card that you had there that you were trying to get to when we eventually saw you have to do the draw on the check at Uno?
I mean, from Gon right there, that's red 7.
Red 7. I wondered if he might have been looking for some number of fish, but I believe the last card he played was a 9.
No, what it is, Gon went to that yellow 9, and then Cap had a choice. He had a choice, because if he goes green 7, he could have went red 7, decided to go with the blue thinking it was ISO, and ultimately just got burned on one. He miscalculated by one
The
card.
fade worked beautifully for Gon. It really did.
Right, Cap, just a miscalculation, right? Just one turn too late. I'm going to have to assume that 7 decision with the green was the ultimate problem where you had to make a choice and unfortunately just guessed wrong one time. I'm going to assume that. That's how I view it. Yeah, I had a blue 2 before it got. You gotcha. Okay. Yeah, see, it's one card set, and I like I said, the instant regret. I don't think that's a bad move because what if he has it? So I understand the aggression from Cap there. I understand Gon giving him the aggression back. It's tit for tat, no problem. I'm just gonna have to ask Gon on these William. That's what William Brock does the best. When Brock is known for that, Gon is not. We know he's known for the reverses into a draw. Yes, that kind of stuff right there is WB. So I gotta ask him. Gon, you probably have no idea who the hell William Brock is. It's fine. But that was a really good fade style look, man, where you did the classic. We know you love doing reverse draw. Then you decide to go with the little eye candy. Get the blue, get Cap guessing on the blue, and then save the blues to the end. Talk to me about that triple save on the blue. Was that instincts, or did you see a sense where that wild from Cap was almost an enabler to say, okay, I'm hoping and praying after second guessing on the yellow draw, he'd go back to blue and show a little bit of that fade look on a little reverse to get the top winner. What we got? All right, back to you, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, really incredible when you look at that run there to the end on both sides. Both really kind of have to rely on the fact that the other one didn't have the card necessary. We'll see so many times the ammo saved for the end to be able to have that 2, 3, 4 card chain to close it out. They used them more on the defensive side. We saw the double +2 into the draw early out from Cap. We saw the double reverse into the draw from Gon, using it at the beginning and the middle of this game, and then having the ammo shortage at the end. Interesting, especially with the low card count there, but short touched on it. Utilizing that ammo at the beginning to make sure that somebody doesn't get that monster hand there off the draw, might have something to be able to just completely cook with. You gotta play a little bit more defensive when you're at this low of a card tier.
Yeah, you have to play more defensive. It's part of it, man. It's part of it. When you go low, you got to expect this to be a more shootout on aggression. Maybe not so much shootout on ammo, let's say. You could say fades could be part of it, right? Color switches, the efficiency. You're just going to see a more rapid, intense game. Now, Gon has stolen 3 wins on Cap's beloved, or 2 out of 3 wins on his beloved 5-8. He can't do 5. We don't think Cap or Gon would go low here. You think this might be the chance where I talked about that trump card. Boom, pull out that 14 and play the element of surprise. I think it's a good move because I don't believe either player has gotten so much crazy luck. It's been more top decks or it's been more given to them. There's not been one hand where, other than that one call out, there hasn't been one game where it's been, okay, it's just the plan A city. I think Gon still could have that special 10+ saved for that very moment with the power play. It's not an advantage because it's a neutralizer to potentially steal this one, but this is Cap. He's been down multiple times before. He's never out of it till it's over. You know he's going to find something at the end.
So talking about that power play there, I mean, obviously going into this game 6 up 3-2, Gon's going to probably be thinking about the power play in an offensive way. What about Cap? Is he thinking about it offensive or defense? I mean, he could play it defense to stop Gon from winning this whole thing. But on the flip side, if he's got the right cards, he might think about using it offensive to be able to draw this back 3-3. Granted, he wouldn't have it for the Game 7, the crucial Game 7, but, is it just dependent on circumstances as to what way he would utilize the power play? And do you think, regardless of whether it's offensive or defensive, we see him utilize it here in Game 6?
100% it's all circumstances. You got to set yourself up to get there. Just because you have one doesn't mean you can always play it. We've seen multiple people. Here we go. Hold on. Cap had me guessing a small bet with his color changes, so I took a step back and just played my game. Got to the end, he had 2 cards, and I knew he probably would have had 2 blues or a 2-card combo. Without a power play escape to set me up well, I said, F it, and switched it to yellow, and it worked to perfection. Maybe one of the nicest saves of my career. Okay. I would call it more of a sideburn trim there, Seth. You get a haircut. That's a lot of sideburn action, and I love those sideburns.
Yeah,
it's got that vintage. I love the vintage look on those sides, so I respect that move. It's Cap trimming those. Cap got trimmed on those sideburns a little too much. Gon just enough, a little bit right under the beard line. Boom, got that perfect trim, and now he's 1 away. Let's see what he can do
Yeah,
in Game
what
6
was
for
it,
sure.
the sideburns that they had back in the 1800s? They called it the Van Dyke, I think, or something like
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, they were famous in Europe. Well, I mean, it makes sense. These guys are both Europeans. They know a thing or two about a good facial hair, so it makes sense. It makes sense. The guy's got a beard on his profile picture, so
Yes, he does.
he knows a thing or two about that for sure. Seth and you and I, obviously, we got some facial hair as well, so we know a thing or two about that for
Yeah,
sure.
that's true. That is true.
All right, we'll go to Game 6. Unless you have anything to add before we start. My bad.
Nope.
We're too
I said
good.
everything I need to say.
We're too good, baby. Let's roll it. Let's go. Oh, never mind. Back to Gun. Source got to
Yep,
do
he's
it.
got
Right.
the home field advantage here with the 3-2 up in this series. He's not able to use 5, 7, or 9. He can do 8 to keep in the mid-tier. See if he does that, or to your point, KT, does he go up a little bit higher here near the end? He will go higher. He'll
First double digit.
Look at that.
Oh my god.
Didn't
The
go to the
trouble- there's the
14, but we did jump up into that double digit.
Yeah, there's the trump card. He's going to try to steal it right here on this upper tier. Cap, I mean, he's probably, you know what, Cap's not, he's probably okay with this because it's not 14 or something. It's still higher, but he's been here before, so it's nothing too crazy.
Little
We'll see
lower
what Guy
upper
will do.
tier, if you will.
Yeah, it's basically the limit. 0 sugar. How will Cap play this one as Cap continues to run? Into the green 3 and a rat from Jenna. Here comes Gun. Kind of taking his time here. He's just going to go green 5. Yep. Oh. Card didn't appear, right, guys?
Nope, didn't appear. Oh, there it is. There it is.
There it went.
Oh, a little slow. You're good.
Happens.
Cap with the draw.
Double green 5. Ooh, what?
Little ditto play.
Yeah, I think Gon might be looking for a switch here. He could be low. But yeah, nothing.
Yep,
yeah,
there it is.
yeah, that's a clue. That's a clue always when you play double numbers. It's a clue. You might be running low.
And we're into the draw city. I was kind of wondering there with that draw if Cap is completely out of green, or did he just maybe want a little bit more cards? Didn't like the situation?
I think it's a little bit of both. Cap may have not liked the situation. Maybe he's forcing Gon to break us out here. And now at this rate, both have, assuming Gon draws back here, have clips 10s. It's a new game, new ball game. Cap going to be close to that full send. See how he can react. Gon taking his time for real here. Really thinking this one through, analyzing the move, maybe thinking of how he can set up a finish at the end, the back end. But he'll just draw.
Or just draw. Yep.
Cap and the rat, okay. Gets a little topper. He's trying to force Gon to a switch, and Gon's not going to bite for it. And Cap will do it himself.
Cap.
There
Yep.
we go.
There you go. Says, hey, if you're not going to do it for me, do it myself.
Ties it up. 12-12 now. Now it's a new game. This time on a 12-pack. We'll reload.
Opens it up in the red. Gon gonna run with the red as well. See how long Cap decides to run here with red before we end up seeing the potential color swap. Cap very well known for that.
Double play on the Ditto down, and both guys are playing numbers similar. Cap continues to run. Of course, Cap, we talked about this, defending tournament winner from last year, trying to keep his streak alive. We saw in March. I guess, well, not counting March, but we saw this is the only tournament in T5 because those are the two tournaments that had interesting winners. They can try to run it back.
Over into the blue, and I wanna bring our memory back to game 1 as well. Remember we saw there
Ooh,
when we were in the
shit.
green, we saw the draw there out of Cap. He did the same type of a thing back in game 1, had a +4, but didn't want to use it. So what kind of ammo could he potentially have in reserve that he didn't want to use out of the gate and was willing to go into the draw city?
Well, right now he's content. Here comes Gon. Plays it cool. Now here comes Cap. Let's see. Back to blue.
Back
So
to
we're
the
trying to get the
blue.
fades going. Yep, trying to get them fades going. Or is that back to the blue? No, you know
I
what?
believe it-
It technically is. It's
Yeah,
just
we were there
it's
for a
definitely-
moment.
Yeah,
There
kinda
for
getting back
a
into that.
blink of an eye.
yeah, just a blink. Power play
Whoa,
from
the
Gon.
Power play with
Whoa.
7?
Uh-oh.
Monster hand here. Cap's gonna have to
Oh,
try to get
that's-
that call out ready.
So we're looking at
That's-
least at a 5-bagger, maybe a 6-pack.
Yeah, Gon's gonna take his time here. Cap can't do anything other than the call out to stop this.
Let's see here.
He's going to make sure he gets them all in correctly.
That's right.
Well, now you probably could just go one at a time. You probably could.
Can't unless he misses the Uno call. That's the only way this. Unless he doubles the last two, he could always do that.
So with the power play, one would have to assume he's either going for a check or maybe have 2 cards left with maybe a +2 or a +4 to get a chain to finish.
It's got to be check. You'd have to think it's check because he's taking his time. It's got to be check. There's no other logistical way here. Really taking his time.
Trying to be the first rookie to advance.
We talked about the incredible run that Cap had, that 3-1 run that he had back in T1 before eventually losing out to the champ Yepez. This is going to be an early exit for one of the people that probably on paper would have been one of the favorites to win this tournament.
Defending winner.
Yeah, from April. Yeah, correct.
There we go.
Okay,
wild connection. There you go. Ammo probably runs down on blue.
Well, Gon just got to finish it off now, and now he can finish it off on the 4-bagger if he wants here. I would think here. I mean, Gon did miss a power play back in D2, and he had a confusing one, but I think he would learn his lesson here. Let's see, taking his time, really I think he's just trying to cover all the bases. First, second, third, and home. Yeah, that's it.
There you go. That's it.
The bot's just
the blue reverse into the yellow to finish it out. And wow,
first career D1 win for Gon.
First rookie to win here in T2.
Yeah, first true rookie too, because of course the other two that are coming up are more XD1. They just didn't play the 5 tournaments, you know. Go to Cap first. I got to type in. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I mean, Cap, not often that we end up seeing somebody that also is comfortable playing in the same wheelhouse as you around that lower to mid-tier area. Almost like playing against a clone here, I guess, in a way, in terms of that type of thing. We also saw some rapid-fire play there out of Gon as well. In any way, did that have your strategy change up? We obviously saw a lot of the usual Cap plays, a lot of the Cap trends play out in this one. What do you think in all of this was the main deciding factor? Was it just the preemptive of plays? Was it just the ammo that was allowed? Where, when you kind of look back at this entire series, where do you think the momentum shift was that ended up having Gon be able to take this series from you? Because this was definitely a back and forth. Momentum could have shifted in any way each one of these games. I mean, we could have easily been looking at a Game 7 with how these all played out.
He's probably just gathering his thoughts here, but yeah, it's something to be said. I think for, I would say both players. Seth, as we wait for Cap to type his thoughts here, both guys really did play into their wheel. I had said this could be a possibility where if Gon wanted to steal some games, play a little stealing on these lower tiers, and then if he could pull something higher, he could get something going. I think this one, though, I'm going to have to say Cap had nothing. I mean, the early draws was an indication. I don't think he really had much to begin with. I think it came down to...
He did not have a single reverse the entire series.
No.
Wow.
No. That's rare.
I mean,
he at least didn't play it. He might have had it in this last game, but he had no reverses played in this series.
We know this by
self-draws were pretty even, a little bit more on the skips, one more +2, one more +4, the wilds were even. But, I mean, look at the cards played. Gon +16 on the cards played. You just knew that Cap was just struggling in the dumps there, really.
I mean, you go back and really the only mistake in this entire series is the missed Uno call there from Gon, which he was able to recover from.
And he got a bail. He got bailed from it.
Both of these guys played to their strengths. The deciding factor in all of it was just the bot meta.
Pretty much. We'll see what Cap says here. It's very rare. I mean, the last time you think about last year, Cap didn't even play in this round. He got a DQ win over Fitzwater, who fortunately went through some things. But this is I agree. This is big from Gon. He gets a little confidence, and we had talked about this. What would his motivation be coming? I know he's got a lot going on in real life, but today he showed up, got a little bit little luck from that. I don't say, gone better cards. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that one I will agree. There's nothing you could have did that last game. You see a power play of 7 cards.
Yeah.
You gotta accept it.
Other than load up the call out, that's about it.
Yeah, and that's just nothing you can do. I'll ask him a question here. Just find the chat. There we go. There we go. Gone, that's a big win. That's a statement win. Obviously, playing a defending tournament winner of any kind, whether it be T2 or the Super League one, or even T1, 3, 5, 5, you make a statement every time you go into round 1. You had to play the same exact style in terms of speed with Ghost. You transferred it over to Gone. What did you learn overall? Because that last game, let's face it, you just had the cards. But what did you learn overall from that round loss from Ghost that was able to transfer the IP and the data over to Cap that had you an advantage? Was it a case, I had said I know you can't listen to it, but I had said maybe you're just trying to steal some wins on his beloved 5-8 and then pull one last trump card in 11 or 12 and boom, game over. Talk me through that, mate, because that was a big statement win as you'll play Leah in the next round. Thoughts on her?
It's also really interesting. You called the shot there, KT, with him going to the upper tier here near the end. Great, it was the lower upper tier, but I mean, he had 6 and 8 available to him if he wanted. Both of these guys were really comfortable down there through that 5 through 9 card start, and he decided to go a little bit more upper tier for this close. You kind of wonder if that's something that he'll do going forward as well. Continue down in that mid tier, but if he ends up having the advantage late, he'll go up to that lower upper tier region.
Yeah, I think for Gone, this is a confidence builder. I think he can still play any card start. I know he hasn't done much 15, 14. Only Ghost has really been the game where he gave it to him. I think Gone's a versatile player. I wouldn't sleep on him. And we had said if he just gets the motivation, I know he's got a lot going on. There's a lot of rumors with him as we get later into the summer with exams and stuff. But if he can get that pushed to the side and just, as I said, get into his office space, and I always talk about this when I'm hosting this thing, when I'm playing, I'm not nervous. I get more nervous for a broadcast, man, because you want to make sure it goes right. But when you're playing, you're enjoying yourself, you're having a fun time, right? You're in your office for a little bit, take about, I know it's a series one, 25 minutes, but you and me does do such a great job. This was probably a 90-minute stream. You get 90 minutes here just to kind of enjoy yourself for a little bit, get away from the rat race of life. And maybe he was in that flow state. And unfortunately for Cap, trust the flow of life. I think he'll trust the flow of life come T3. This is a guy that had a banker 3 off the start of the year, 3 wins to start the year. You need those banker wins, man. If you have 3 up off of March, you're in a good spot still. 3 and 2 is better than guys that are 0 and 2 or even 1 and 2 to start the year. 3 and 2 is fine. All it takes is one more run for Cap. Let's say if he gets back to another Elite 8 or even a Final 4, he gets to another Final 4 at 7 wins. And just like that, he's pretty much on the doorstep of Super League pending resume. So he's not out of it for Gone. Now at 1 and 1, he'll get Leah. Should be an interesting game, litmus test game. Leah's at 3 and 1, and Gone now at 1 and 1. Should be a litmus test. We'll see how Gone does here. And I guess one other thing is the fact that every rookie loses out. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Gone could win the class in round 1. That would be a crazy state. We saw background. I believe not background. We saw Goldie take care of it after background lost in tournament 1, and Goldie, she took the win in round 2. We'll see if the same suit follows. Maybe we'll have someone challenge. We'll see. Next one up is M. Of course, M is more of and Eric as well. More of those interested. Yeah.
While we're waiting for Gun's response here to your question, shout out to Short. Quick on the draw. He's got ourselves the updated bracket here, and on the top level of the Jaguar region, the upsets. Leia toppling Andreas Allen and Gone toppling Captain. Those two are going to face off against each other in Tire 32. And the
classic
winner of that
10v15.
there you go, yeah. And then the winner of that will obviously be facing off against Tapir and Charles Stanford, who moved on from their respective matchups in Suspension 64. So
Tapir just this morning against Steven to start the day at 9:30 this morning. What was a weird series.
Define weird.
Well, I mean, 17 minutes had to be subtracted from the game log on game 1 because well, it was supposed to happen yesterday, but we figured out we could get it done at 9:30, and we just talked about the bus and the car playing Uno. Steven was getting ready to go to school and was still playing while in class.
17 minutes. Do you have a halftime show or something there?
No, Steven
No,
Steven wasn't responsive for a little bit, but yeah, maybe a halftime show. Maybe it was halftime of game 1 of 6.
I did peek over. I did see a little bit of a little rapping there. I should have dropped the bar for that time, but maybe
should
I'll.
have.
Yeah.
I'd rather
dropped
have
the
you
bar.
than Kendrick.
Oh,
We'll save the bar.
maybe you need to get all the streamers together. We just make a rap.
Epic rap
Seth,
battles of
KT,
Uno.
JT. KT and JT were dropping bars last night, man. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
me and JT, we're the one team that can do it. We definitely are the one guys who can do it. But no, all joking aside, Seth, Cap just having a little funny. He knows he's still that guy. He's been here before. This guy has won so many games. He's 100-time starts, right? He's won. Let me just check. I believe he's won after today. Yeah, he's won 81 games in his career. This guy's around the block, 15-time winner in this division. He's still one of those guys that's going to be a bad man at the end of the season. Give him time. And as for Gon, the run's going to come down to really, I think for him, sure, it's always going to be motivation. That's the always thing with some of these guys. You just don't know what's going on in real life. We talk about that with, ironically, this whole region really. I mean, in a sense, with Allen as well. I have the cards. That's only a small part of the win. What makes a win? You have to use those cards to get the Cap. Going into the last game, I told myself I wasn't going to get to another game. I just did that. Good game of Cap, not his day. He's unlucky I'm underseeded. Oh boy. Not too familiar with this, so I had to do a small bit of research before that battle. Yeah, I think that's a fair one, man. That is 100%. That's 100% a fair question for Gon as he continues to type out. You know, the underseed. It's just part of it, though. When you lose here in round 1, let's say, in March, and you lose 4-1 or 4-2, that's just the nature of the beast, man. You're going backwards on the seeding. In the past, because we had so many Game 7s. Now we don't have as many Game 7s, more Game 4s and 5s. It'll start to neutralize out, but it depends where you lost on the seed line on that department. But for Gon, I'm interested to see how he does moving forward. I think he's got a shot. And there's this quote. Had the cards, that's only a smart... Ah, okay.
Caesar.
Caesar just got done with a little bit of extracurricular, but yeah, we'll keep it going, Seth. We'll keep it going, my friend. What we got here in the docket today?
Yeah, so coming up right after this in just about 15 minutes, speaking of Caesar, we're going to be covering his matchup against M, 3 p.m. on the Spider region. And then at 7:30 later on here tonight, Diablo region, Arya taking on G-Man. Might be in for a couple more upsets here this afternoon. Don't know. If we set a bit of a trend, we'll have to wait and see. A couple of matchups that aren't streamed here tonight as well. We got Ghost taking on MGR at prime time, 8 p.m. And then capping off with the Diablo region, the defending tournament champion from T1, Diego Yepez, taking on James Ellison at 10 p.m. Only a third of the way through the matchups that are going to be run here this afternoon. Well, this entire day, I should say, as Short said, that first one kicked off here at 9 o'clock this morning. But what a game, what a matchup. Strike one, first blow for the rookies here in T2 has gone able to topple the formidable rapid-fire playing captain, and he will move on to face off against Leia in Tire 32. Okay, T, appreciate you joining me on commentary. Short chiming in here as well and doing the reffing. We got another matchup that we're rolling right over to here in just a little bit with the matchup with Caesar versus M. But wild one here in this one, and it'll be interesting to see not only what Gon's able to do in the future, but also just how much more dangerous a motivated captain's going to be when we get to T3.
Absolutely, Seth. Thanks for closing us out. We'll see you in a couple minutes for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Just keep it here on the MRE Uno YouTube channel because we're going to have the next stream coming up for you here in just a few moments at 3 p.m. Congratulations once again to Gon as he is the winner of this series here, and he will move on to Tire 32. In just a little bit, we'll be coming to you live. Thanks for joining us for this matchup. We'll see you guys in a little bit as you've been watching another tournament coverage of MRE Uno.
This has been a presentation of MRE Uno Division 1.